Hello, Watem here, and welcome back to small Higurashi When They Cry, where nothing is ever suspicious. No, and no one ever dies. No, ever. I thought they were suspicious yesterday, because of what Brenna had told me. At first, I thought it was unusual to see a white van, but then, right after I heard a creepy story, I saw a white van parked on the road, and I got scared. The gardeners weren't familiar with the roads of Hinamazawa, and they got lost trying to take a shortcut on the way back. That's all. I had it totally twisted around? There's still the question of why did they ask about seemingly Renna. I believe that fake-sounding story. I believe that the Sonozaki family was working behind the scenes, and I fabricated the existence of a group of fanatical believers in my mind. Worse, I doubted Mion. Damn it! I'm such a fool. She's my friend. We took each other's hands that day, saying that we were a family made of friends, and that friends were friends no matter what. I said that, but then I doubted my friend. I'm so stupid. Anyway, Renna was the problem. She also needed to wake up from this crazy delusion. I had to hurry and wake her up. Renna seemed like she had no mind to listen to anyone else. When are we going to see Rika more? She truly believes that the Sonozaki family are the masterminds of a large-scale conspiracy. I remembered the plate number of a white van, and I also remembered their faces. Without a doubt, this was one of the vans that had been following me. So far, I've confirmed that 3 or 4 cars have been following me. I could especially recall this white van because it followed me around the longest of all. The people who were in the other cars must be the lookouts. The ones in this van must be tasked with direct contact, like kidnapping or assassination. The lookouts secure the surroundings. The ones in this van attack the target. That's a common maneuver involved in both kidnappings and assassinations. The scrapbook said that too. If so, I'd better watch out because it was them, not the lookouts, who came to the school premises. I don't think they'll attack me while I'm in school. They're in the early stages of their covert operation now, hiding their fangs and claws until the last stage of their horrifying scheme. That's why they won't take action in the school, where people are watching. But it looks like they were talking with Chi-sensei in a very friendly way. I could only hear bits and pieces of their conversation, but it sounded very suspicious. I tried to remember the chatter and movements of their mouths, and played my memory of it like a videotape in my mind. I wonder if Takano-san was trying to trigger this behavior in her. And for what purpose?
Maido!
どうもご苦労様です。今日も暑いですね。
いいえいいえ。今日。
ではすみません。今日もよろしくお願いいたします。
はい、よろしくお願いします。これ、うちの事務屋から渡すように言われましたんで。
と、ですね。ありがとうございます。空欄ですね。問題ありません。はい、お預かりします。
はい、それでは。りますんで。
I used the information to guess what was going on. Played the video again and again in my mind, and also paused it and played it in slow motion again to check many times. Then, something unbelievably horrifying started to emerge. There's no doubt that they're acquainted with Chi-sensei. We have never seen them visit this school before, so it's hard to believe that Chi-sensei is their contact. There's no doubt that they're the death squad under direct control of the Sonozaki family. They have a local accent, which proves they were chosen from the Sonozaki Corps. Their squad was talking with Chi-sensei. They know each other. What's their relationship? Who's Chi-sensei anyway? So obviously she's let me just look up Seal Senpai. something from the church, task of extermination, something like that, yeah. During the dam conflict, Hinmazawa's school was closed and it was merged with one in Okonomiya. The Yonagafuchi Guardians didn't accept that, and they made a part of the forestry service building into a school. But needless to say, the school they made didn't have a teacher, so it was only going to be a token form of resistance. But a teacher who had a strong passion for education felt sorry for the children, and she came to work there. That was Rumikochi-sensei. It was obviously strange. Teachers are government employees, and they normally belong to their prefectures. As long as they lie low and don't cause trouble, they don't get fired, and they don't get demoted. They can work up until the official retirement age, and they're guaranteed to get a fixed retirement fund. She was one of those government employees, but she defied the Board of Education and came to work for Hinmazawa. The villagers admire her as a teacher of passion. I heard that Orio Sonozaki herself successfully negotiated with the Board of Education that suspended Chie-sensei for defying their orders. It was easy to get an answer from this by connecting the dots. Chie-sensei was recruited by Orio Sonozaki as a teacher to work at the school the Yonagafuchi Guardians had created. In other words, she was already working for Orio before she came here. As for the principal, he was the principal of the school in Hinmazawa from the beginning. He's a respected person of this region, and he's been closely associated with the three families for a long time. So that means this school has been under control of the Sonozaki family all along. Oh, Rena. Rena. That's why Chie-sensei is acquainted with the Death Squad. It makes sense now. Chie-sensei confirmed that I came to school today, made a phone call, and called them here. I don't want to know why she called them here. If she called them just to monitor me, they'd wait near the gate until class was over. If they came onto school premises. Why? It's a garden. Stop pretending to be a fool, Rena Ryugu. Do you think nothing will happen if you pretend not to notice it? Think hard and calm down, Rena Ryugu. What have they tried to do to me today in school? In school? How are they going to do anything with my classmates and friends around me? It's easy. Chie-sensei will tell me to come to the teacher's office during the last class of the day. Probably because she's worried about her, because she was sick yesterday. I'm guessing it's going to happen. What about my clubmates? That's easy too. Chie-sensei can make them go home early using her authority as a teacher. She can make up any reason she wants. Maybe the classroom is going to have carpentry work done today, so they can't stay in school.
いえいえ。は今日。
ではすみません。今日もよろしくお願いいたします。
See? There's no doubt. What do you mean there's no doubt? You literally can't hear half of a sentence. They clearly said they're ready to do it today. And what else?
はい。よろしくお願いします。これ、うちの事務屋から渡すように言われましたんで。
と、ですね。ありがとうございます。は空欄ですね。問題ありません。はい、お預かりします。
I see. They gave Chie-sensei an envelope with some documents in it. That blank is an eerie phrase. Was my name supposed to be in blank? Why is it left blank? What does that mean? I told you, Rena Ryugu. Do you still think that nothing will happen if you pretend not to notice it? Stop that. So, what it must mean is that it's an order from higher up. It says to make Rena Ryugu become blank. Oh. You're jumping to conclusions. I took a peek from the shadows, and I saw the principal taking documents out from the envelope. He started reading them. He looked stern, and looked very serious. I wished I could take a peek at the documents, but I was too far away. I kept looking at him just to see if he'd react at all. Then the envelope caught my eye. The envelope said Okonogi Gardeners, and it had some numbers that looked like a phone number. Fortunately, I have good eyesight. I memorized the number. Fair Escort. Gardening company must be a camouflage occupation. Probably doesn't even exist. Yeah, just ignore all the gardeners and lawn mowing and all. I wanted to find out. I looked for a phone. There's only one phone, and it's in the teacher's office. Fortunately, the teachers were chatting in the hallway, looking at the gardeners. It was now or never. She's going to try to call them, but of course they're not going to respond because they're in the gardening. I made sure nobody was watching me go into the teacher's office. I rushed in and grabbed the phone on the principal's desk. It's probably just a small company as well. Local. I went over the phone number in my head and dialed it up. I'm glad they have a touch-tone phone. It would have been difficult if it was a rotary dial. I wonder how many of my viewers actually know what a rotary dial is. Somebody answered. I'd only have to ask, is this the Okonogi Gardeners? Wait for the answer before hanging up. It should be easy. It connected.
お客様がおかけになった電話番号は
I felt a cold chill running through my body from the bottom of my feet. Wait, don't make a quick judgment. She's gonna make a quick judgment. I might have remembered the number wrong. No, I know I remembered it right. It was an easy number to remember. It's impossible to remember it wrong. Then, did I dial it wrong? I put the phone down and started over. This time, I dialed the number more slowly. Teachers might be coming back at any time. In that situation, it was risky to do anything slowly. But I needed to make absolutely sure.
お客様がおかけになった電話番号は
It's the same. There's no doubt. The company Okonogi Gardeners doesn't exist. It's just a camouflage occupation for the Sonozaki family's death squad.
番号をお確かめの上、もう一度ダイヤルしてください。お客様がおかけになった電話番号は
I was too stunned to put down the receiver. The announcement kept running over and over again. The voice was cold and creepy. I hung up the phone and rushed out of the teacher's office. I ran to the bathroom and held my head in an attempt to cool down. Calm down, Reno. Calm down, Renorugu. Stay cool. Renorugu. I wasn't safe here anymore. If I stayed here, I might be erased, even in the open. They'd erase me? Why? They aren't certain that I have the scrapbooks. I told Keiichi-kun where I hid the scrapbooks. Yesterday I told him I hid them in my hideout in the garbage dump. Was Keiichi-kun in cahoots with the Sonozaki family? I felt as if my head was a pot that was cooking some dubious stew. There was only soup in my brain. I cut up clues, information, and facts just like I cut vegetables and threw them into the pot. Some of them were floating on the surface, and others were on the bottom of the pot. They were being cooked into a boiling soup. No, it can't be. Keiichi-kun is on my side. He's the only one who's on my side. He held out his hand to me at the trash piles. There was no lie in that hand. When he grabbed my wrist, I felt nothing but his strong and pure heart. He promised me he'd be on my side. I shouldn't doubt Keiichi-kun. He's the only one I should trust. He's the only one who's on my side now.
ごめんごめん、ケイチ君。危うく君を疑いそうになった。本当にごめんね。本当にごめんね。
I said it out loud on purpose, full of regret that I doubted Keiichi-kun, the only one who was on my side. Now that I think about it, whether I have the scrapbooks or not might not matter to them. Raise anyone who is suspicious. That's the safest way. Is it though? That just gets a lot more attention onto yourself. Does that mean they're in a hurry? The day of Oyashiro-sama's arrival might be just around the corner. And that's why they're trying to get rid of any small fish bones that are stuck in the throat, by any means, before it's too late. We don't need her anymore. Just erase her if you're worried so much. Could easily picture Oryu Sanozaki saying that. Picture? No, she did say that. That's why they're here today. What should I do? What should I do? Should I wait until school is over? I was like a fish in a pond. No matter how many times I escaped from the net, I was in the pond. They owned the pond. I didn't stand a chance. Then what should I do now? I couldn't keep escaping from the net. I should get out of the pond. I didn't know how to fight them. I didn't know who was on my side. I was about to give in to despair. For now, I'd have to think about how to survive this, so I'd at least have the time to think about how to fight against them. I have to get out of this pond. When I was about to leave the bathroom, one of my classmates came in. Pretended to be sick and talked to the girl while leaning on the wall.
ごめんね。私、ちょっとどうしても具合が悪くて。早退するからって先生に伝えておいてくれないかな。
I shouldn't let Chie-sensei know that I'm leaving school early if I'm trying to run away from them. If I didn't, they might think I ran away without cause. That might lead them to chase after me without mercy. If that happens, I don't stand a chance. They were planning to capture me after school was over, but I happened to feel sick and left school early. If they took it that way, they wouldn't think that I noticed the noose tightening around me. I was about to go back to the classroom to get my bag, but I changed my mind and turned around. I didn't need my bag anymore. I realized nobody was watching me, so I stopped pretending to be sick and started running.
Hmm? 千恵先生、ここがおかしいですぞ。
おかしい？どうかなさいましたか？
見積書と請求書の日付が空欄になっておりますぞ。ここは今日の日付ではないのですかな？
ああ、そこはお役所の都合らしいんです。見積書の日付と請求書の日付が同じだと、なんだか都合が悪いそうで。
No, why not?
庶務係さんから空欄にするようよく念を押されています。
あとそれから請求書に書いてある電話番号と封筒に書いてある電話番号が違っていますぞ。
They changed phone numbers.
どちらが正しいのですかな？
Probably cheaper to just change it on the invoice than to have to like replace all your envelopes.
あらやだ、本当ですね。社長さん。
はい。どうしましたね？
請求書に書いてある電話番号と封筒の電話番号が違ってますけど、どちらが正しいのですか？
請求書の方の電話番号が正しいんで大丈夫ですね。先代の事務所の時の封筒がまだだいぶ余ってたもんなんで、それに入れてきてまったんですわ。すんませんね。バイトの子に全部新しい番号のハンコを押しとくように言ったんだけどな。すんまへん。消しておいてもらえますかね。
I'm guessing this is going to be the end of the chapter. I think. Yep. Lunch takeout list 3. Fish in a pond. A bit disappointed that we're not getting more Rika sound though. The danger of a culture-bound syndrome lies in the fact that it can easily trigger delusional misidentification syndrome. That is to say, in the current case, every time the patient sees something trivial, she tries to interpret it as a curse. And it's believed, that as a result of the accumulation of these events in an undesirable form, a delusional system is created, ultimately leading to paranoia. Furthermore, the patient is also exhibiting slight signs of a personality disorder. Of course, it's at a very mild level, and it's not causing any hindrance whatsoever to the patient's daily life. It's common for even healthy individuals to have primary delusions in their daily lives, but they usually ignore it automatically without recognition, since those delusions are nonsensical. However, there are cases where these delusions accumulate despite being incomprehensible. It largely depends on the particular characteristics of the individual, and it's believed that the patient shows relatively strong characteristics in this area. I believe you're very much aware that primary delusions are categorized into 3 different kinds. Delusional mood is a feeling of impending crisis without basis. Delusional intuition is a sense of duty or goal without basis. Delusional perception is a feeling of baseless cause against a baseless target. In the patient's case, it's believed that these incomprehensible delusions accumulated, acted out simultaneously with the culture-bound syndrome, which triggered a delusion misidentification syndrome. And it ultimately caused the incomprehensible delusions to become understandable by interpreting them as a curse. The comprehensible delusion system induces understandable secondary delusions, further strengthening the patient's delusional system with the passage of time. Delusional parasitosis mentioned earlier can be considered a secondary delusion. A common factor of all cases of paranoia is that even after an outbreak, they still appear perfectly normal with no change in their personalities. The patients are unaware of their own ailments, and due to their personal interpretations of their delusional system, there are many cases where patients arm themselves logically, making it extremely difficult for a third party to point out that they're having a delusion. Furthermore, although it may depend on the tendency of delusions, there are also cases where a persecutory delusion turns into a pursuit delusion or a conspiracy delusion, resulting in the patient creating an imaginary enemy and taking up antisocial behavior. For example, there are cases where believers of a religious cult were deeply influenced by the cult's founder's paranoid visions, which shifted the group into a conspiracy delusion, that made them conduct antisocial behavior in the name of self-defense. Although no such cases have been reported in Japan yet, could very well happen in the near future. Fortunately, the patient hasn't reached that serious condition as of now. With proper treatment, she should be able to make a full recovery. Please make sure that her father also understands that this is not an unusual case, but something caused by the accumulation of a number of innocent factors that anyone could have. The patient can be treated only by deepening her bond with her father. As long as she has that bond, she can certainly be treated. For the reasons above, if the patient is returned to her home village, I strongly recommend that the patient continue to receive guidance from specialized medical institutions. Please excuse me for writing such a long letter. Thank you for reading this until the end. I'm guessing that's a letter to Iri-sensei? They were mowing the grass near the fence, which is probably a cover to monitor the surroundings. Yeah. Just in case, I tried to escape from the school. But they must have been thinking that would happen only after school was over. They seemed to have no idea that I'd already noticed their plan and was trying to run away right at that very moment. I couldn't use the front gate, since they'd find me easily. I moved behind the school building, made sure nobody was around the curry garden, ran through it, and dashed into the forest. I walked through the dense undergrowth, stepping on dead wood and climbing over fallen trees. After walking through the fence for a while, I came to a small road. I knew many back roads in this village because of our club activities, and that knowledge had finally come in handy. So, what should I do now? I'm sure the girl already passed on my message to Chie-sensei. Those men must be crazy by now, knowing that I ran away. Everybody in the class looked at each other and shook their heads. Chie-sensei looked a bit upset that Rena left school early without telling her in person.
でもレナさん、最近はいつも体調悪そうでございましたものね。
レナ、カバンなんかも置きっぱなしだし、 どうしちゃったんだろ
なんだか嫌な予感がするぜ。
う。え？
I think I know what's going on. I'm not sure, but I have a very bad feeling about this. She must have taken another ridiculous story seriously or something. I hope she won't do anything crazy. I hurried home. My father might be at his new job, or he might have gone shopping. He wasn't around when I got there. Now that they're on the move, I'm no longer safe in my house. They're very dangerous people. They're trained to be capable of attacking the Ministry of Construction. They actually pulled off the kidnapping of the grandson of the minister. Locked doors and windows don't mean anything to them. In fact, it'd be like I was hiding in a box, which they could just open up to get at me. I could no longer stay at my home. It's very sad and very frustrating. I killed Rina and Tepe, and finally regained a peaceful life with my father. How could this happen to me? I remembered what Keiichi told me before to express my
高野さんめ、とんでもない置き土産を。
express my feelings better than anything. Why did she give me those terrifying scrapbooks? Why did she tell me the secrets of that unthinkable conspiracy? She got me into this. I didn't do anything. It's all Mio-san's fault. But who was interested in her stories? I was. Who let her continue talking? I did. I did that out of curiosity. Who let the memories of Ibaraki return and told Mio-san about them? I did. I depended on Mio-san, hoping that she could somehow save me from the memories I'd been trying to forget. I shouldn't have remembered anything about that bizarre incident. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have gotten involved in that unthinkable conspiracy, and I could have just played around with my friends today. But even if I didn't know about the conspiracy, it still continued behind the scenes. I would have been one member of the mob running around in panic, not knowing what's going on the day of Oyoshiro-sama's revival. I would have been just swallowed up in their conspiracy anyway. Would I be happier if I faced that day without knowing anything? Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. Would I be happier if I struggled, knowing about it but ending up swallowed by it? If I'm going to end up the same no matter what I choose to do, I'll fight. I'll choose to fight. Because that's how I seized my happiness before. When Rina invaded my home, seducing my father, I felt like it was the end of the world. I lived on the verge of despair every day. I thought that was the worst misfortune that could befall anyone. But the way things are going, it wasn't really that bad at all. I had only two enemies, Rina Mamiya and Tepe Rojo. I knew my enemies, and I knew how many there were. I lured them out one by one and attacked them in the dark. It was a very easy problem to solve. But what about this one? I don't know who my enemies are. I don't know how many or how strong they are. Even the people I once trusted might be my enemies. I can't possibly be sure. It's totally different from the previous problem. This might be the end of the world. This time, it really was the worst thing that could possibly happen. But is that really the case? With Rina, I felt like it was the end of the world, but I no longer think it was that way bad. So this might turn out to be an easy problem to solve in the end, and I might be able to laugh about it someday. I know that day will come. I know it for sure. So I shouldn't think that this is the end of the world. Let's fight. I can fight. I can still struggle. I'd eat grass and drink mud if I needed to. I'm going to bet on a 1% chance, even though it's unbelievably small. Mio-san didn't leave me with scrapbooks. I wouldn't even have been able to sit on the table to bet. I was lucky that I received the scrapbooks because they gave me the chance to choose my future. If I don't fight, they'll spread the terrible parasite, and this village will face a great disaster. According to the legend, when the demons first came out of the swamp, people became demons right after being infected. And it happened while they were inside the village. These days, symptoms appear only when infected people leave a village. That only applies to the later, weak parasite. The original parasite can reenact the curse of Oyashiro-sama, even when the infected are in the village. The legend of Oyashiro-sama will be reborn. Humans and demons will start killing each other, and Oyashiro-sama will come down to pacify the disaster. That's what they want. They want people to prostrate themselves before that miracle, and only the people who truly worship Oyashiro-sama will be saved. I see. I know their true intention now. They're going to reenact the legend of Oyashiro-sama. After all, the villagers always say that Rika-chan is his reincarnation. The stage is all set. They're going to use the parasite as a curse. So how are they going to make it look like Oyashiro-sama came down to pacify everyone? I get it. They must have some kind of medicine, a specific cure for the parasite. When they recreated the stronger form of the parasite, they found a cure for it at the same time. They're going to use this cure to save any of those people who believe in Oyashiro-sama. As a result, this village will only have those fervent believers. They're going to make themselves the absolute rulers of Himizawa. Wait, I might still be underestimating them. Are they going to carry out that horrifying act of bioterrorism only in Himizawa? Inside Himizawa? History proves that one of their goals is to control others. People desire to spread their religion across a wide area. I'm sure that they conducted research not only to bring back the primitive form of the parasite, but also to overcome its weakness, namely that it only thrives in Himizawa. On this somewhat disturbing note, I will end it here for today. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, see ya.